Everyone, welcome to this episode of the Outdoor Gear Review. We hope you all are doing well. I cannot believe that it is 2021 already. Now, last year in 2020, Susie and I did a cross-country trip to Colorado, and it was such an amazing adventure for us. It was epic in so many ways. With that trip, we had 3 parts. It was an overlanding truck camp to Colorado, a backpacking trip, and then the trip back here to North Carolina. At some point in time, I mentioned that I was going to combine all 3 parts and make a movie of sorts. I forgot about doing this. The viewers did not. We've steadily received messages, so here we are today.
As 2021 is underway, a lot of the world is going back into lockdown. But when it lifts, a lot of us are going to be itching to travel. So this full-length movie can show you how to travel safely while we are currently still in a pandemic, and it will show you how to do it in a budget-friendly way. Our trip was very, very cost-efficient.
At the very end of this video, you will see how much we spent on food, on camping, on fuel, and it will blow your mind. It's amazing how inexpensively we did this, and also how safe we were while traveling during a pandemic. So as we go into 2021, this could give you some good ideas on how to travel, how to explore, and how to be safe, and how to save some money.
For those of you that are new to our channel, Luke and I do not have a fancy RV or a fancy van. We traveled in our truck, and our tips that we show you will hopefully give you the idea, because you don't need anything fancy to travel. You can use any vehicle that you have and still utilize the same things that we did for our trip.
With our adventure, we went to Colorado to backpack the Holy Cross Wilderness, which is, first off, an amazing place. It is beautiful, but it's known as the Bermuda Triangle of Colorado because all sorts of crazy things happen. People go missing. It has a really interesting history. So we wanted to go explore this place, and it was simply unreal. As you all will see, our plans had to change because of the wildfires that were taking place out there. That really did play into what our adventure was.
The first part of our trip getting out there, we stay at campgrounds and state parks. That's a great way to travel across the United States. When we left Colorado, we switched things up and we only stayed at rest areas, which is another great way to travel the United States.
Which one did you enjoy the most?
It's really a toss-up because the state parks and campgrounds are beautiful, but the rest areas may be quieter. I don't know.
Without a doubt, I slept better at rest areas.
Yes.
God, that's funny.
So either way that you choose to travel, it all works, and we show you tips and tricks to make it work and to make it safe.
All right, with that being said, everyone, we hope you all enjoy this adventure. It's a little bit over 2 hours, 2 hours, 20 minutes, something like that. It was a fantastic trip for us. It was our big trip for 2020. We are currently planning our 2021 adventure, our big trip for the year. We cannot wait to share that with you all.
Kick back, grab some coffee, popcorn, whatever, enjoy our movie. We're also going to watch it again because we're going to refresh our ideas for our next big travel trip and use the same things that we did. Hello everyone, it's Susan with the Outdoor Gear Review, and I'm behind the wheel of Drifter, and Luke and I have started day 1 of our epic 2020 road trip.
So check this out, everyone. We are on the road for Colorado, and we are going to an incredible place that is known as the Bermuda Triangle of Colorado. All sorts of crazy things have happened there, and we will share those events with you all later on. But for now, let's drive.
To catch everybody up this morning, Luke and I got up and we left our home in North Carolina in the mountains, and we've been driving about an hour and we are in Tennessee. Our goal for today is about 8 hours of driving, and then we should be in Illinois, and we're going to the Shawnee National Forest. There are some campgrounds there, maybe some dispersed camping. We're not sure, but we plan to explore that area, and that will be the stopping point for day one.
Our plan is to have 3 days of traveling to make our way to Colorado. We will explore for 2 to 3 days and then 3 days to come back. This is going to be an awesome adventure, and I cannot wait to share this with you all. This is going to be great, Susie.
I'm so excited.
Thank you all so much for joining us for this trip. I cannot wait to see what happens. That's the most exciting part about a road trip, is that you never know what is going to happen. It's going to be filled with like crazy people, crazy events.
The last road trip that Luke and I had was when we were going to see Madison after she graduated from Navy boot camp. And that was a very fun road trip. I'm trying to convince Luke that my road trips are better because he's done a few with his brother, and they do like the crazy 18 hours worth of driving. So, and I'm not going to do that. Typically I do more of the driving because Luke is filming and he's better at filming, to be honest. So I will drive most of the time, and I like to break it up to where we're averaging 8, maybe 9 hours of driving each day. I want to make sure we have a stopping point, maybe a place to explore, definitely time to cook, stretch our legs. So I'm just trying to convince him that the way I do road trips is so much better.
Ira's my brother. I love you, buddy, but his road trips are so punishing, so grueling. He likes to drive, and that's it. So it's like every day consists of like waking up at 6 o'clock, driving until like 10, 11 o'clock at night, and that's pretty much it. That's that's what we do.
That's it.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. The first time you went on one of those, you know, we talked while you were gone, and I'm like, well, where'd you stop? And you're like, nowhere. And then when you got home, I'm like, so what did you do? Let me see pictures. And you're like, there aren't any.
I tell you what, those road trips with Ira, they're fun, but we usually rent a small car. Everybody sleeps in their seat. It's awful and fun at the same time. I really can't complain though. It is unique. Now this will be Susie's very first cross-country trip via vehicle. Now we've flown all over the place, but this is your first time seeing the country via road.
This is going to be the first of many, I think. And I'm excited about it. I'm just so excited about it.
How's it going, Susie?
It's going good. We are at our first traffic jam on the interstate. We are taking the interstate to make better time on this trip instead of back roads. If we were to take back roads all the way to Colorado, we would add almost 7 hours, or pretty much an additional day to our trip. So we are running the interstate, and we just hit rain in our first traffic jam. But it looks like we're still moving. We haven't come to a complete stop, so I think it's okay.
While you make good time on the interstate, the one thing is that it's somewhat boring. There's just not much to see. When you take the back roads, that's where you get to see like the magic of America. You go through the small communities, you see all sorts of interesting things. As an update, we have about 30 miles until the next rest area, where we'll pull over, have some lunch there, stretch our legs. But so far, this has been a very pleasant adventure.
So far, our self-sufficient drifter truck is working out perfectly. So the great thing about traveling in the truck is that we can be self-sufficient, and even though we're stopping at the rest areas, we're not actually using any of the facilities. And I think during this time, during a pandemic, it's a good way to travel.
It's like being in an RV. It rocks. So Susie and I, we've made it to the rest area. It is time for some lunch. Temperature-wise, amazing. It feels great in Tennessee today. These passing thunderstorms really have done a good job of cooling it down.
For lunch, we are making some sandwiches, turkey cheese, some mayonnaise and mustard, and then we're gonna get back on the road and continue to drive.
Our destination this evening is the Shawnee National Forest, and we have a campground in mind to stay at, but the spots are first come, first serve. So hopefully there's an opening for us, we shall see. If it doesn't work out, there is dispersed camping in the Shawnee National Forest. Either way, it's gonna be fine. So without a doubt, this is the loudest place I think I've ever filmed a video. Right next to the interstate, in a rest area. I know how to live life, let me tell you what.
Exciting.
Lunchtime. Mwah. Our next stop will be for gas. The truck's doing pretty good. We have about 400 miles on the interstate sort of range. It's not terrible.
It's not bad, really.
Along the way, we saw one accident. I'm not exactly sure what happened, but a tractor trailer was almost split in half. Mistakes were made. That was during the thunderstorm back there.
For the road trip, one thing I did to plan it out was to look at state parks and national forests for camping opportunities. As we travel across the country, I wanted to have a pit stop at the end of each day. So what better way to explore the country than to start with our state parks? We're back inside the truck now. It is way too loud outside to film for you guys. So we're back in the truck and we're actually gonna get going again and finish our lunch on the road. What I was trying to say outside is that when I was doing the planning for our trip, I looked at national forest and state parks as pit stops because I knew that we could camp at them. So the pit stop for today is a national forest. It's Shawnee National Forest. I don't know much about the area, just based on what I could read online. There is camping, there's dispersed camping, and there is a campground. So it will be fun to get there this evening and explore the area.
Now folks, roughly 4 years ago, my brother and I, we did a cross-country trip, and that was the year of the election. And when we were driving across the country, we kept track of all the political signs, like signs in people's yards and whatnot. And without a doubt, it was obvious that Trump was going to win. Now, with this trip, it's the year of the election. It will be interesting just to pay attention as we go along. Now, of course, here on the channel, we don't talk politics or nothing like that, but I think it is an interesting observation to make.
concern that I want to address right now. I noticed as we got closer to Kentucky, we are in Kentucky by the way, that I kept seeing armadillos dead on the side of the road. And now that we've crossed into Kentucky, the number has more than doubled, maybe even tripled. So I'm really concerned about the armadillo population. Apparently they get hit all the time. They're all over the road. Does that damage your car when you hit one of those things? I mean, I don't know. You guys need to fill me in on this armadillo problem.
Without a doubt, everyone, I've been in the mountains way too long because I am not accustomed to this. I used to live in Florida, so I know heat, but obviously that part of me is long gone. 100% humidity. Wow, I'm soaked in sweat.
I know.
It's insane.
Bad.
Yeah, I mean, everything is fogged up. The camera, actually both cameras are fogged up. Yeah, it's damp, no doubt about it. But the campsite is a nice one. The name of this is Oak
Point.
Oak Point. Very nice. It's a pretty simple setup. We have a picnic table, fire pit, we grab some firewood, and we're ready to kick back and relax. This is the hottest, most humid place I think I've ever been.
It is a steamy 91 degrees still at almost 7 o'clock at night. It's so humid and muggy that it almost takes your breath away. So we have been walking around. I just got a tick off my leg, so not how I wanted to end my day, but it's all good. We're gonna kind of settle into our campsite and see what's around the area and just be diligent about tick checking.
Susie, I think it's dinner time.
Yes, I'm so ready to eat. Tonight we're going with some beef lo mein. It's a simple one skillet meal. And for this trip, I was able to plan about 3 days worth of meals to fit in our fridge, and then we will have to restock.
All right. So, while Susie gets dinner ready, I will get the truck ready for tonight. First things first, open some windows. I'll get the lights on, and also I will get the bug mesh up. Light. The most important part to warm weather camping inside of a vehicle or inside of a tent is airflow. Oh yes. Whew. That feels amazing. With a little bit of air, you could sleep just about anywhere. That is awesome. So I have a fan and Susie has a fan, and with these we can sleep comfortably. Another very important part of our system is this bug mesh. We hang this on the back, we can leave the tailgate open, and we can have fresh, cool air all night long. If we want to, we can move the fans down here to pull extra air through. It makes all the difference in the world. It really does. And this is 100% bug proof. You don't have to worry about anything. Wow, that looks pretty good.
It does. It smells good. So we have some beef lo mein, which is just strips of beef with carrots, other vegetables like spinach, and then it has the noodles in it. So it's like an Asian dish. You can buy these in the frozen section, and they work really well because it's a one-pot meal, and it's a complete meal, and this would be just enough for Luke and myself to enjoy, and simple, one pot.
This has been a lot of fun.
It really has.
And this is just part of the adventure. I mean, it's super hot, super humid. You're soaked. I'm soaked in sweat. This is crazy.
But this is how we're doing our road trip. So we have a place for the night. We were able to stop at the end of the day. We don't have to keep driving. And it's going to be good.
Oh, it's going to be awesome. Sweating with Susan in the back of the truck is better than sweating with Ira and Lucas in a rental car. So.
Okay, how about some hot food by a hot fire on a hot evening?
By a hot lake. It is hot.
Oh, yeah.
And we do have a fire going. A nice smoky fire. That way we could deter some of the mosquitoes. It is quite buggy here, actually. I mean, really, it's not too bad, but there's some.
It's good.
That's awesome. In truth, folks, this is a really nice campground. It's well taken care of. The people who are staying here, very nice. We've been talking to some of the people just walking around. There are people from all over the country here. We're not the only ones from out of town. Everybody is traveling right now.
If you are traveling down towards the south part of Illinois, because we're right at the end of it, you can find this place in the Shawnee National Forest. And this is a place we will have to come back and explore because there's so much to it. But this campground is first come, first served, but it's huge. I was really surprised at how big it was. So we're here on a Monday. There's plenty of spots still open. We have plenty of privacy. It's a good stopping point. You know, it's a good stopping point, or it's just a good place to come and explore.
That's true. It has been, without a doubt, an interesting year. And I know everybody says that. The pandemic is still taking place, but it's one of those things where the country has to move. It can't be locked down forever. And like these small little communities just like this, they rely on those funds from tourists, from travelers and whatnot. So there's a chance, there's a risk in everything. But I think the pros outweigh the cons with this type of trip.
Yeah, we're trying to have our trip in a safe way, what works best for us. And we were ready to go. So when Luke mentioned Colorado, I said, let's do it. In Colorado, it's already a lot colder. So if we continue to wait, we're going to miss our opportunity to visit Colorado this year.
Yeah. And personally, I feel good about being able to help out the economies because like everybody needs it so bad. Everybody needs to do their own part.
They do. And of course, we're not telling you to go break any rules. If you're visiting a town or a state or a city that has a rule right now, you need to follow it. That's how life goes. So do your research, plan. That's what we did.
And make the decision that's right for you. If you don't feel comfortable traveling during the pandemic, don't. But I think there's ways that you could do so while minimizing the risk to yourself and to others. Susie, let's go sit around the fire. Want to?
No.
Susie, let's get closer to the fire.
Honey, let's move farther from the fire.
We will always remember the night in the truck when it was like 80 degrees.
Maybe it's going to get cooler and we have fans.
What the heck is going on? It is super windy all of a sudden, like insanely windy.
We just got inside of the truck and all of a sudden the winds pick up like insane, right? Severe thunderstorms are right around the corner. I have to seal the truck up right now. It is about to get nasty, like really, really nasty. There is a severe thunderstorm warning in place. Let's see, Doppler radar is tracking a strong thunder line of storms. Thunderstorms. It's moving at 60 miles per hour. Half-inch hail and wind gusts up to 50 miles an hour. Hopefully, it will not be that bad here. Hopefully, one of these trees doesn't come down on top of us. Already, it's been blowing acorns. We've been hearing limbs break. It's about to get crazy, Susie.
Oh my gosh.
Hopefully not. Hopefully not. I like a good thunderstorm, but I don't want trees to come down. Yeah, let's see what happens, everyone. Wish us luck, and good night. People are trying to set up their tents because they just came into the campsite and like everything's getting blown around. There's nothing we could do. They just need to get in their vehicles and hunker down. Good morning, everybody. It is about 6 o'clock in the morning, and for myself, it was an awesome night. We'll talk more about that later. Right now, everybody's still asleep in the campground, so I'm trying to be quiet as well. Trying is the key word. Have you ever noticed when you're trying to be quiet, it seems to make it worse? It's like a monkey trying to make coffee in the forest. Bang, bang, bang. So folks, we are leaving the campground this morning. It is now 7:10. Now it's funny, when we went to bed last night before the storms hit, the kids were playing, screaming, and as soon as the storms hit, they started screaming for a completely different reason. I heard kids screaming because the wind was so strong. I think they were scared.
I did too.
That was funny. Talking about the storms, it stormed all night long. That was incredible.
I have to say that I don't think I slept that great because the storms would not stop. It was just storm after storm, and it would get really quiet and I would roll over and then here it would start again. It was just crazy all night long.
And I slept great. Susie said that she rolled over and I was snoring, so must have been sleeping pretty good.
Must have slept great.
So our destination is Wilson State Park in Kansas. 9 hours, 30 minutes, which translates to about 11 hours, 30 minutes. Never trust Google estimates. It is 640 miles.
Of our 2020 epic road trip, and Luke and I are traveling in Illinois. We are headed to Missouri, and we will be in Kansas tonight.
For the first part of this trip going out to Colorado, we have everything planned. We're going to campgrounds. On the way back, we may do some dispersed camping, but again, it really depends. We have to find the right spot that's not too far from the interstate, because you can easily spend hours cruising around in the middle of nowhere looking for a spot.
Right, and while we are overlanding for our trip, we don't have unlimited time to spend each day. We do have to get a chunk of driving done, and we're just making pit stops.
Right. So we've been on the road now for a couple of days, and we've noticed countless signs like billboards for adult stores. And my question for you all is this: why on earth would you go to one of these places? In the age of like the internet and porn, why on earth would you go to a store?
I don't know.
Like, one place is called the Lion's Den. I can't even imagine what they do to you if you go there. This channel is 100% judgment free, so I'm just curious, what's in there? Why would you go?
Yeah, we're just short on time. And unfortunately can't stop, so...
Otherwise we would, right?
We would.
Mrs. Wolf at the adult store. The Lion's Den.
Turn the camera off.
That is a gentleman's club.
An adult superstore.
Ooh. Now, that was a gentleman's club, and it's pretty funny. The billboard right next to it was, "Are you going to hell?" You know, some local church had that put up right next to it.
Yeah.
That's funny. As an update, everybody, we are outside of Topeka, Kansas. It's beautiful out here. Kansas is awesome. It is awesome. But I tell you what, this has been a lot of fun. It's been a good day. Today was the big push out of our 3 travel days. So it's more miles, more hours than the other 2. But it's going good. We should arrive at the campground at 6 o'clock. 181 miles to go. Susie, what time is it?
Coffee time.
It is definitely coffee time.
Definitely.
I have no idea where we're at. Do you?
Somewhere in Kansas.
The weather says for the place that we're going to that there's going to be a breeze between 10 to 20 miles an hour. I hope that's true. It's hot. I think that's the theme to this show is like, it's hot. It's hot everywhere we've been. 93, 94 right now. It's pretty warm. I'll take a double, baby.
Got you a double.
Make it extra nasty.
When you double up on the instant coffee, get ready. Chaos is coming.
Amping him up.
I'm gonna get amped. Now, so far, as the miles roll by, Susie and I have been keeping track of all sorts of things. At the very end, we will tally up how much we spent on food, fuel, so on and so forth. We've also been keeping track of the vehicles that are broken down. So we will tell you the most common broken down vehicle on the road. Cheers, Susie.
Cheers.
Cheers, folks. Who am I kidding? I can't drink this. This crap's way too hot. I'll drink it in an hour and stay up all night. That's how I roll. Speaking of rolling, Susie, let's roll out.
Let's do it.
All right.
Susie, we have made it.
We finally made it.
Oh my gosh, it feels awesome.
It feels so good. There's such a nice breeze.
It is about 88 degrees, but yet this breeze is coming in. It feels amazing. It really does. Now that we made it to camp, it is time to set up.
breeze is coming this way, so we decided to move the truck around, and we should sleep really comfortable tonight. And hopefully, maybe even get cold. We'll see. I can't get over how good it feels here.
It's amazing. With the wind coming in, it is unreal.
Good call on moving the truck. I think if we had another hot evening like we did yesterday, we may, I don't know, die or something.
Oh my gosh, I bet it's gonna feel amazing in there. I cannot wait for later on tonight. Whew.
To cuddle because you're cold?
I want to cuddle all the time. All the time. Oh man, let me tell you, everyone, this is nice. Feet up next to the lake, not too far from the lake. Now, I just checked the radar, and guess what? There is rain and storms on the way. They will hit later on tonight. So we are that blue dot, and you can see the storms coming in.
Tonight we are having pork barbecue with some cheesy mashed potatoes. Instant, of course, to make it easy.
Raise your hand if you're tired.
I'm tired too.
I tell you, it's funny how tired you can get from simply navigating. You know what I mean? Giving precise instructions. Some say that I have the hardest job. Right. It's been said before. Right.
By you.
By me. In previous adventures with my brother. Yesterday we talked about where we were going briefly. The Bermuda Triangle of Colorado. The name of this place is Mount of the Holy Cross, the Holy Cross Wilderness. We are heading there, and we are going to hike Notch Mountain, which gives us an incredible view of Mount of the Holy Cross. Our elevation max is around 13,200, something like that. Mount of the Holy Cross is right around 14,000. I tell you what, I am so excited to get there. It is going to be amazing.
I can't wait for the really cold weather. The first year that we went to Colorado, we had temps below freezing, and even though it was hot and we both got sunburned, we woke up to everything being frozen, and I'm actually looking forward to that. We've just been in such a heat wave, and all the heat heading out to the Midwest has been really, really, really hot, so it will be refreshing to feel the Colorado temperatures. And like Luke mentioned, this is the Bermuda Triangle of the mountains, and the reason is that so many people go missing and there's just odd things that happen there. So we'll have to dig more into that as we're in the mountains.
Yeah. As far as tomorrow goes, shorter day of driving. I think it's around, what, 6 hours, 7 hours of driving, something like that?
Yeah, less than 7. And it should be short. If we get started, we should arrive earlier in the afternoon. And the thing about tomorrow is that the only thing that we have planned is that we know that we're going to the Holy Cross Wilderness, and we will do some dispersed camping there. So we don't have a campsite or a campground that we're going to. We will be in the mountains of Colorado, and we will have to find a site. Then we will drive to the Trailhead, do our hike on Thursday, explore the area into Friday, Saturday, and we don't know the rest of our journey, so.
Talking about where we're hiking at, Mount of the Holy Cross, super busy. Notch Mountain, not so much. I believe the number is around 1,500 people per year hike Notch Mountain, which is not much.
No.
Most people go out there for the 14,000 footer, not Notch Mountain. Say that.
Twister.
Yeah, say that 3 times fast.
Not Notch Mountain.
Too slow, faster.
Not Notch Mountain.
Not Notch Mountain.
Oh, you did it.
Once.
I think we're just tired.
All right, I'm done talking. Dinner time.
Dinner time. Bye.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
It is about 6:30, and the sky is red. It's red, it's raining, there's storms on the way. Red sky at morning, sailor take warning. Red sky at night, sailor's delight. We're in for a rough day.
Maybe.
Maybe. We'll see. How'd you sleep last night?
I slept much better here than in Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
I slept much, much better.
I slept great.
You seem to have no sleeping problems. Maybe it's your snoring that's keeping me awake.
Am I really snoring?
You are.
Wow.
You're snoring.
Is it sexy?
Well, turn the camera off.
Ooh.
Good morning, turkeys.
So we've driven down the road here, found a parking lot that's a little bit more sheltered than our campsite. Watching the sun come up. Susie's getting ready. Glimpse. Glimpse number 2.
Glimpse.
It's a little bit too rainy to get coffee going this morning, so I think we're going to make some cold coffee. I have some water bottles here on the side for that. And once we punch through this rain, then we'll stop, have breakfast, and all that stuff. Susie, we're storm chasing.
It feels that way.
This is awesome. Way to go, storm chasing kitty.
We're storm chasing.
Yeah. Stay positive. We are all in this together. That's awesome. So true.
So true.
Staying positive makes all the difference.
Yeah, I like the stay positive message. I don't know if I've seen that before.
I haven't either.
So, that's a good one. I've definitely seen we're all in this together.
Sure.
I think people are getting sick of hearing that, but stay positive. That is true.
It makes all the difference.
It does make a big difference.
Welcome to Colorado, Susie.
Yay, we made it!
Woo-hoo!
Colorado!
Yes. The trip this morning has been excellent. Now, it took us a few hours to get through the storms. Wow, they were awesome.
Intense storms.
Yeah, high plane thunderstorms. They are incredible. Wow, that was so cool.
It is cool. The storms out here in the Midwest are way different than what we have in the South.
It's beautiful. Anyway, so yeah, we had to drive through all that mess, find a dry place to pull over, make breakfast, make coffee, and everything's going really well. Let's see, we are less than 300 miles away from our destination. We will arrive at roughly 2:30, something like that, probably be around 3 actually. But yeah, it's all going good.
Good, good.
As an update, everyone, we are in Colorado. We just left Denver, thank God. Traffic was terrible out there. So a few observations to make. First off, Colorado has the worst roads that we've experienced so far on this trip. Like, they're bad.
They are the worst. Yeah.
It's amazing. Tennessee has better roads than you guys. What is going on? Anyways, the trip has been great. It's been a beautiful day, feeling good. We will be in the forest in about an hour and 30 minutes. That's not bad. Off-road kitty.
In Colorado.
Yeah, that's right. Susie.
We made it.
Yes, we did. And it is incredible.
It is so beautiful here.
So, check this out, everybody. We are on Notch Mountain Road. Up here, a few miles, is the Trailhead. We will hit that up actually tonight. We'll talk about that later. Check out our view from our campsite. That is absolutely incredible. Temperature wise, 78, very breezy, very comfortable. We are parked at a dispersed campsite on the side of the road. All the others were pretty rough. This one, it's not bad. And also, there's a cool piece of, well, I'm not sure exactly what this thing was. What do you all think that is? Comment down below, share your thoughts. Let's see. How many times have I sat on those keys and set off the alarm to the truck?
Too many to count.
Yeah, I've done this in like parking lots, for like trailheads, like scare the crap out of everybody. The adventure is pretty much done for the day. We are going to stay here probably until late tonight. And then once we're ready to go to bed, we'll finish driving up the mountain, go to the trailhead, park, camp there. So first thing in the morning, we could wake up, have a good breakfast, some coffee, and hit the trail running. The trail that we're doing is not that popular, but the Mount of the Holy Cross is. And a lot of people go up there to hike it. And that parking lot will fill up very fast.
Yeah, they take up the majority of the spots. So if you want to start your hike, you know, people arrive really early. And since we're right here, we'll just drive on up there later and go ahead and park and be prepared. We're not getting like a super early start hiking or anything, but we'll just be up there ready. After we eat and make coffee, then we'll head off and start the backpacking adventure. So
excited.
Quite the journey just to get here, but we did it.
Cheers, Susie.
Cheers. We did it.
Good job, pilot.
Good job, navigator.
Yeah. Susie did such a great job driving. I'm so impressed.
Thanks.
Susie's driven us around the country before, but this is definitely by far the farthest.
I need to rest for a second.
Yeah.
Something about, like, when you know you're close, you just feel yourself like, I'm kind of done. I'm kind of getting tired.
Mm-hmm.
So it worked out good, though.
Yeah, it really did. All in all, very easy drive, very pleasant. Now, I tell you what, folks, this is pretty wild. The timing here to come and hike is absolutely perfect, because if we waited even just like 3 days longer, this place would have been closed.
Yeah, when we pulled in, I saw a closure sign, and I was like, oh no. And then I looked at Luke, and he's like, what? And I'm like, look at that. And then as we read it, it said closed on August whatever. And I was like
15th or something.
I was like looking at my watch, and I'm like, oh my gosh, did you know this? And he's like, no. And I was
Didn't
like,
see it.
we were so close to missing out.
I read all about this, and I saw nothing about an early closure.
Already the campground is not even open, and that's due to the pandemic. So there is a campground, Half Moon Campground, and it's not been open at all for 2020.
Yeah. People are not happy about that campground being closed. Did you see the
No.
sign and what it said?
It's actually really funny. It was like, why don't you close the woods too?
F Bill whatever.
Yeah, and one said, why did you close it? It's a hoax or something.
Yeah, it's like what survivability is 99% or something like that.
Yeah. What we have seen traveling across the country is that the state parks have been open, but the offices and things like that are still not open. So this morning when we left the state park that we stayed at last night in Kansas, we did not dispose of our trash there because all of the dumpsters were just overflowing, piled up to the side.
Yeah.
And I mentioned it to Luke. I was like, with all the park offices being closed, I don't know how often they're maintaining. It's amazing that they are letting them be open. All of those are like self-pay stations.
It's like on the honor system.
Yeah, you can reserve online or you can go self-pay at the office, but it's all closed. Everything is shut down, so you do it all outside. And one thing I just noticed is like the maintenance is just not there.
Right. Yeah, but still, the parks are open.
Yeah, the parks
But
have opened.
don't
so-
expect any sort of help. You're not going to talk to anybody.
Right, so it's...
I mean, maybe someone will answer a phone. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
Nothing was open there because we were having some trouble just finding our camp spot because the place is so huge. And of course I drove right to the office and I was like, well, we'll just go here. No, not open. So you kind of have to navigate on your own and figure it out.
So check out the sky, everyone. Dark, foreboding, and that is rain right there.
Now, these are just very light passing showers, no big deal. I think we're going to be fine. It looks like it's passing towards the south. So, yeah, we shall see. So let me show you all around the campsite here. So you have fire pit number 1. Most people don't use this one. Let's go down here because this is the popular spot. So as you all can see, this is a nice spot. There's enough space here for a tent. You have the fire pit. Now for tonight, we are not going to use it. The fire danger level is extreme for today, so we're not going to take any chances. Also, it's dry, and also there's a forest fire right now, and that's why we have the strange colors in the sky there. That forest fire is becoming more and more clear. Over the last couple of hours, the entire area has become engulfed in smoke. This must be a large fire. I'll have to look it up. Hopefully this doesn't really impact our trip tomorrow. Maybe the wind gods will work with us. It's all part of the adventure, that's for sure. So, Susie and I, we've actually been hunkered down inside of the truck. It got super windy, kind of rained for a second, and now it's just breezy.
Tonight's dinner is tortellini pasta with some sauce and chicken meatballs with a side of Caesar salad. So it's a pretty tasty meal.
I love the refrigerator.
I love it more.
She loves it more than me.
I looked up some information about this forest fire, and this is the Grizzly Creek fire. It's roughly 3,700 acres as of this morning, with zero containment, and they say that it's extremely active and fast moving. Well, Susie Q, thank you very much for dinner.
You're welcome.
Oh yeah. My friends, cheers everyone. Or maybe I should have said 1, 2, 3, boom. Let's see who can eat this the fastest.
It is cooler in Colorado than any place we've been, so I have to ask you, honey.
Okay.
Let's rate our campsites.
Oh, okay.
So, if you feel cold, just think back to our first night in Illinois and tell the camera how you really felt when we arrived and got out.
It was insanely hot. Not the closest to hell that I've ever been. That's Texas in the middle of summer, but maybe second. If you stood still, like you just soaked yourself in sweat. You had to walk just to get a little bit of airflow. It was awful.
The humidity was so high there that it was definitely a miserable feeling. I'm not going to give it a bad score because of the heat, because that's just the area.
I rated it almost hell.
Okay, let's talk about Kansas now.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So last night was awesome. There was quite a few people, but not really at the tent camping. It was like RVs, electrical hookups. Those were swamped.
That place was huge. I mean, just absolutely huge. But if you wanted a primitive site, they were not booked, so.
Don't mind me, everyone. I'm trying to keep Susie safe.
For the one in Kansas, there was not as much privacy.
No.
We'll have to say that. Those spots were close together.
They were really close together.
For me, Colorado, I would say, is a 10.
Yeah.
The views are great. You have solitude. I expect our campsite tomorrow to just be epic too.
Yeah.
So I have to say Colorado is always going to be a 10. If you can come disperse camp in these mountains, when is it not going to be amazing?
It's true. I really like Colorado, but I don't want to live here. I like to come and visit, and then I want to go home. This place is really busy.
It is busy.
Most trailheads are absolutely packed. Like, we've read that this one can be very busy, but supposedly the Notch Mountain, which we will do, isn't too bad. But we could be wrong. I mean, tomorrow it might be insane. You never know.
That's true.
Yeah.
We've always been lucky when we come to Colorado.
True.
That we have found the solitude that we're looking for. So we just have to hope that that happens again.
Right. Wish us luck, folks.
But hands down, Colorado is a great place to come play at, you know?
Good morning, Susie.
Good morning.
How are you?
Good. Cold.
It is cold here, isn't it?
It is very cold in Colorado, surprisingly cold.
Yep.
I believe I said I was looking forward to it.
Change your mind?
Changed my mind.
Now for this adventure, everyone, this is going to be a wild trip. Where we are hiking is known as the Bermuda Triangle of Colorado, and that's because people go missing and all sorts of strange things happen, which we will talk about later on tonight. This is going to be an awesome overnight trip, and after we finish up our breakfast and coffee, we'll get started. Before we do get started, we might as well talk about Drifter and our experiences in the truck. This has been the perfect overland vehicle. We basically drove up here last night, slept in the truck, and it was awesome. The one thing that wasn't awesome was that when we were coming from a lower elevation, I decided to leave my sleeping pad inflated in the back of the truck. So we came up, the air pressure expanded, my sleeping pad popped. It didn't just pop, it freaking exploded. So I need a new one. But luckily, I used my backup, my backpacking sleeping pad, and all's good, but that's pretty funny.
For the road up to the trailhead, it is a very rough and bumpy ride, but cars can make it up here. You do not have to have four-wheel drive. There are some really rough spots that we found that you kind of have to navigate around, but yesterday we still saw cars coming up and going down from this road, so...
Like, there's Mercedes up here. BMWs up here.
Yeah.
If I bought a Mercedes, would I bring it up this road? No, I wouldn't. All right, everyone. The adventure begins now. Susie, I love the bear print on the side of the door.
That's a little unsettling. I think it smells like a refrigerator full of food.
It might. All right, so everyone, this is where we're at. The Fall Creek Trailhead, which is part of the Holy Cross Wilderness. We are here. We are going to hike down here, take this fork, and head up to Notch Mountain. 13,222 feet. That is our destination, everyone. So the adventure has started. We have roughly 6 miles to the top. We will be gaining almost 3,000 feet in elevation. And at the end, there's 42 switchbacks. 42, Susie.
That's it? I heard there were 43, so now I don't feel so bad.
Oh, okay, there you go. Hey, whatever. I've read that, like, once you're ready to die, you'll be done, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, sounds good.
$200 feet, out of breath. Welcome to Colorado.
So true.
Oh, you're out of breath? Not me. Turn the camera off. The name of this trip is Slow and Steady. It's our pace, our time, and we are going to do what we are comfortable with and nothing more than that. Now, Susie and I, we have to be careful with altitude sickness, elevation sickness. With our previous trips to Colorado, we've had good times and bad times. Susie suffered from elevation sickness one time, but not the previous trip. So we'll take our time, not push ourselves too hard, especially since we've been sitting for 3 days.
I just told Luke I have to get my hiking legs back. I've had driving legs for 3 days. So all I've done is drive, get to where we're going, and want to rest. So even my fitness tracker that I've been using is like telling me to move more. But with those long days of driving, there hasn't been much time to hike or exercise. For elevation sickness, I don't think you ever really know when it's going to affect you. I didn't have any issues the last time, and I'm hoping this time there will be no issues.
Hiking legs and hiking lungs. So far, so good.
So far, so good.
This is absolutely beautiful. It really is. Susie,
We did it.
we did it. Back to Colorado. Woo!
Woo.
That Colorado sun. As soon as it comes up, you get hot. Whew. You know, everybody, I was thinking about our travels to get here. The worst day of overlanding is better than the best day of flying travel. Susie and I have had so much fun, even though we've been absolutely miserable at times. We stayed at a campground in Illinois. It was like 90 something degrees, 100% humidity. That was awful. I was just standing there, just drenched in sweat. All right, water time, everyone. If you've seen any of our other high elevation adventures, you know that water is extremely important. Elevation sickness can start with a headache. Dehydration can start with a headache. And studies have shown that they are linked together. Also, I think studies have shown that they're not, so that's how that goes.
Who knows, but in my experience, I find that you may not feel like grabbing your water and taking a drink because you're just cold and you're not feeling it. When you're hot, it's easier to want to drink water. Even when you're not hot, your body's cold, it's still important to take those breaks and force yourself to drink just a little bit of water. I know from experience that you'll get a headache and you will regret it at the end of the day.
We usually make a point to stop like once every hour and hydrate. Plus, it makes your pack lighter, so. There is a fantastic breeze in the air. It feels so good. At the same time, it's a bad thing. There's a forest fire that is 100% uncontained. It's big. It's about 3 hours from here. And yet that is close enough that last night we were engulfed in smoke and it was raining down ash on us. I'm glad for the breeze, but then again, I'd rather hike without it. Make those firefighters' lives easier. The crazy thing about forest fires is that they make the sky a bunch of unusual colors. I mean, yesterday it'd be like orange, red, purple, pink. Even the clouds at times would be blue. Real strange. And also beautiful. Once we get to the trailhead for Notch Mountain, we'll stop, take a look at the maps, and figure out our water situation. Susie and I have 2 liters each, and I have a filter bag which carries 3 liters. At some point in time I need to fill that up, but I'm not entirely sure when that time is, so we will have to look at some maps. Cool boulders.
They are.
Susie finally took her legs off, and I finally put my hat on. We've been hiking for about an hour, about 1.5 miles in.
Whoa.
Wow. Getting steep.
Unreal.
That is almost enough to make you sick.
Yeah.
I've been looking at the map here on Gaia, and it shows the big water crossing coming up. Now, All Trails shows 3 more water crossings, but I don't know which one to trust. Neither map shows any water past that point, unless we go down to like one of the small little lakes, which I don't even know if there's trails to those lakes. So I think I'll just load up and carry it. Better safe than sorry, I suppose. I hear water, that's for sure.
I hear water, and I heard it one time lower.
Hopefully the water is easy to access. I don't have to become a monkey and hang from something. Ooh, yeah. Now this pack is heavy.
You're gonna have a heavy load.
Now folks, the key to carrying a lot of weight comfortably, 80% of the weight on your hips, 20% on your shoulders. To achieve this, you have to have a pack that fits correctly. It is super, super important. Otherwise, I promise you, you will be miserable. Up and down, up and down. Wow, this is awesome.
It is. Whoa.
Woo! Beautiful. We just went over 2 more water crossings, so the All Trails app map is right, but they are low flow. It would take a lot of work to get water out of that. How you doing, Susie?
Doing good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wanted to take a break and have a snack.
She has a little bit of a headache going on. This morning I woke up with one, but it's gone now. Okay. So this pack got a little bit bigger. I went ahead and I took the food bag out of Susan's pack just to make things just a little bit lighter on her. Is it tall?
Yeah, it's almost, yeah, it's over your head.
This reminds me of the Cathedral Lake hike.
That makes me feel bad.
Oh no.
You take like,
I don't mind at all.
he takes all the weight and his backpack grows and grows.
Luckily, this pack is very comfortable. All right, here we go. Notch Mountain. 2.5 miles in, 2.5, 3 miles to go. Something like that. Now we will stop before we exit the tree line and set up camp somewhere. Someplace with some good breeze, but good shelter from the sun.
We are on the Notch Trail and we've already started the switchbacks. I haven't been counting, but I think we've done 4 or 5. So what does that mean? We have like 38 left. I don't think I will count them all, probably lose track. But thankfully we have this great breeze blowing. So when you stop, you get a cool breeze, cool off for a second, and then we start back trucking along.
Uphill mode engaged. We got this, Susie.
We got it.
You know, folks, the key to doing high elevation is go slow, take a lot of breaks, don't push anybody. It without a doubt takes a while to acclimatize, so go slow. If you see that someone's suffering, they're sweating bullets, talking funny, sit down, take a break, eat, drink, and rest up. You could be the world's best athlete and still have problems with altitude. So keep that in mind. It's best to make it halfway up the mountain and set up camp than have a helicopter come and get you.
Wow.
This is epic.
It is.
As an FYI, there is water on the Notch Trail. Yeah, the map did not show this, but there is a reliable water source here. Wow. Wow. Every 25 feet, it gets better and better. This elevation is killer, Susie.
It really is.
Woo.
Go a little bit, take a break. Go a little bit, take a break.
I mean, it is straight up. We are getting closer to the summit. Unfortunately, we have found absolutely no campsites. We found, well, I take that back. We found one way back there. I would consider it almost at the beginning. I love it. On top of the mountain is the Notch Mountain Shelter. Now, in that shelter, you cannot camp, but you can camp around it. And Susie and I might have to do that. We have found absolutely nothing that is suitable for a campsite, with the exception of one or maybe two spots down there.
It's beautiful and spectacular, but sickening.
We are going up, up, and up. The hike up here, without a doubt, has been grueling. Extremely slow pace, very slow progress. It's very steep. Tons and tons and tons of switchbacks. I mean, lots and lots. But I can tell you, it's insanely beautiful up here. Everyone, it is lunchtime. I'm starving. What about you?
Starving. So hungry.
So we read online that there's dispersed camping anywhere. That may be the case, but nobody is camping out here. There's no campsites. So we're just gonna carry everything to the top, see what happens. Lunch is done. It is time to power on. Let's do this. As an update, everyone, 8 more switchbacks and we will be at the top. Whew. This is killer. It's extremely steep, pretty rough going, and it makes you kind of sick looking up or down. I'm just staring at the trail and pressing on.
Look down, power through. We know there's a reward at the top. You know, it makes me wonder like how many people accidentally fall because they're tired, they're hiking up these mountains and they're too close to the edge because stop to take a rest. You can feel dizzy looking at the view, especially if you're not used to it.
Everybody, we've done it. Notch Mountain Shelter. Mount of the Holy Cross is right over there. Whew. Unbelievable. Yes. So let's see if we can get inside of this. Wow. Everyone, welcome to the Notch Shelter.
Slow and steady wins the race.
Slow and steady. Woo!
Every time.
That was by far the hardest hike I've done yet. I don't know if it's the extra weight. Maybe I'm getting older. That was tough.
All of the above.
No.
I feel bad that you had to carry my weight, but...
Hey, that's what partners do.
So basically Luke took some of my weight because he could tell that I was struggling a little bit. So he felt like if he could take some of the weight and I could go faster, then it would be better for the trip.
I'm gonna take this shirt off, put on something dry, get my jacket off. It's cold up here. I feel like I've been beaten to death with a stick. That is so much better, everyone. So let's take a look around here, everyone, because this place is unreal. What an incredible place to be. I mean, check this out. Look how steep this is. It is a straight shot off of this mountain.
So cool. It's amazing they built that here.
It is, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
The Notch Shelter was built in 1924, and it was built for this reason. The Mount of the Holy Cross. In the early 1900s, this place became famous because of that mountain. Now, we're too late into the season, but early in the season, there's a line that goes down the middle and a stripe that goes to the side, and it forms a cross. And thousands of people would make pilgrimages to come see this. And they would come here and stay in that shelter. From here, you can turn around, go back. That's what we will do. But you can carry on and keep going and go all the way to the top of the Mount of the Holy Cross and continue on, and it goes back to the parking lot. Overall, the loop is around 22 miles, something like that. Many people have died here, and at dinner time we will talk about this. People have gone missing, and all sorts of crazy stuff has happened. Now with this shelter, you'll see that there are metal cables that connect to the roof, and go down into the ground, and they go to release plates further out. Those are lightning rods. That way if this thing gets struck by lightning, which I'm sure happens a lot, the place doesn't freaking explode. Religious individuals may still come here because of the cross. There's some sage in the fireplace, and there's a Buddy Jesus on top of the mantle. Buddy Jesus. It is coffee time, my friends. Susie, awesome work.
Teamwork.
Teamwork. Like, we've been above 14,000 feet. I think you and I twice. I've done it 3 times. I'm feeling this trip.
Are you?
I am. The air is thin and I am tired.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a hard push. It really was. If you want to do the loop, as mentioned before, there's 2 ways to do it. You can come up Notch Mountain, or you can do the Holy Cross, the Mount of the Holy Cross Trail. This is the harder route to take. This is a 2+ class trail. That is a 2. So keep that in mind. Is this a popular trail? No. Not by Colorado standards, anyway.
No, Notch Trail is not. I think you have a lot of people doing the other trails so they can get to the top, and that's it. I think you have a lot of people just doing day hikes, not camping.
Right. So when it comes to this trip and the planning process, we looked at numerous areas to go to, wildernesses and whatnot, and we were looking for a trail that wasn't very popular because that's our style. We like things that are a little bit odd or different. It's funny because I found a trail that was lightly backpacked, this one, and then we decided, okay, yeah, this looks great. Let's go check it out. Let's go do it. Then we found out that this is the Bermuda Triangle of Colorado, and all these weird things take place here.
Very strange and very tragic too. A lot of very sad things have happened here. We came up Notch Mountain. The trail was tough, but I'm glad we did it.
Oh, yeah.
You know, this trail is beautiful and we're having a great time up here at the shelter. And it is beautiful and you have a great view of the mountains. We love to climb the mountains in Colorado, but we don't have to climb every 14.
Oh, yeah. That's the thing. Like, some people like to mark those off. Doesn't really mean anything to me. With this loop, this isn't like a backpacking loop per se. Most people will pick one side or the other and then camp and then go back the way they came. With this being a 2+2 class trail, you would have to be very careful doing this with your backpack loadout. One false step and you're gonna have serious problems.
When Luke and I travel, we always have a rule that if one of us doesn't feel comfortable, then neither one of us will do it.
Right.
The story we will tell you over dinner kind of is a good example of that, and you'll understand that more later. But if one of us isn't comfortable doing it, then we say, okay, we're done. We're bailing on that idea. And that's what makes a good team, I think. You know, you need
Definitely.
a good teammate when you do things like this. We're not from Colorado. We're from mountains that are old and they're not as tall as these.
Nice and round.
Yes. So we love the mountains, but when you're talking about high elevation, it's a different story.
Oh, yeah. Elevation is definitely affecting us. I mean, like, we're gonna be okay, but little foggy thinking, can't quite word stuff. Like, we're having to cut this up because we can't get it out. It comes out jumbled.
We're
you know?
tired.
Yeah, we're tired and we're just not used to this.
No.
But yeah, this was definitely an adventure that we felt comfortable with. Our advice is this: if you want a trail that's not very popular, take the Notch Trail. You can find some campsites lower down. There's not much up here. We are going to spend the night up here. Not inside of this, you can't do that. But if you go off the mountain a little bit, the wind's not bad. So we're gonna set the tent up over there and enjoy this.
Yeah, we will be exposed, so if storms roll in, we will use the shelter. That's what it's here for. We will hang out in the shelter.
Oh yeah, this is our home.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
we won't sleep in it. So we will sleep in our tent just down the mountain a little bit.
Now, the other way. You take the Mount of the Holy Cross Trail. There's actually numerous campsites. I mean, good campsites. You can stay there and then do the trip to the top of the mountain the next day.
So we are out here looking for a campsite. Not on top because this is too exposed. Those wind gusts sometimes are up to 30 miles an hour. Something more off of the mountain. That's what I need. Something down. It doesn't look like anybody has ever camped up here before. Seriously, there's not a flat spot. The grass isn't worn. Without a doubt, not many people camp out here. I've been walking around here looking for a campsite. So far, nothing too good. Plenty of locations that a single person tent would work, but not many for a two-person. So, continuing to look around. This is not terrible. It's not great, but it's not terrible.
Ooh, that sauna feels great. Let's warm the tent up. I want to get in it
Okay.
and rest.
So check this out, everyone. The sun is setting in the west. The sun will come up in the east. And Susie and I will enjoy the view in the morning from our tent. Talk about the most amazing campsite of all time. Wow. So with this site here, I am marking this on my GPS data, and I will be sharing that with the Patreon peeps. I will also set up a kern here so you can easily find it. This is big enough for a two-person tent. It's the only spot, in my opinion, that really works for a two-person tent. I found one over there, I marked it, but it can be very, very windy. Speaking of the wind, I've gone ahead and I've rock braced every stake here, which is a very, very smart move. Susie's getting our camp ready. Thank you, Susie.
You're welcome.
I bet it's hot in there.
It is hot.
Too hot?
Well, I'm not gonna say that because I was freezing 10 minutes ago.
Yeah. Give her another hour or two and she'll be freezing again. I promise you that. The low tonight is supposed to be around 29 degrees Fahrenheit. It will be hard not to fall asleep.
Can't fall asleep, but we definitely needed to take a rest.
Yeah, rest 30 minutes, get up, have dinner. I'll tell you what, we've been exploring the area quite a bit, hiking around. Now we mentioned that like from here, you can hike to the Mount of the Holy Cross. There is no trail over there. We hiked a good part of that spine. There's no trail at all. If you're coming out here and you're going to do it, make sure to have a good map and make sure that you have the skills to do it safely. So it is dinner time, everyone, and we have shepherd's pie.
Shepherd's pie, yep. Almost ready.
Doesn't sound bad.
Shepherd's meat pie.
From a company we've never tried before.
It's called Mary Jane's Farm, and I picked some of these up so we could give them a try. They're organic backpacking meals.
Hopefully that doesn't mean they suck.
It smells really good.
The sun's going down. It's getting smoky.
You can actually see the smoke traveling along the horizon, so.
Yeah, but it's been a nice afternoon. We rested for maybe 20-30 minutes, something like that. That was nice.
Felt good. When the sun is out, the tent warms up and it's like a little sauna in there.
This is a 3+ season tent, so it's not quite a 4 season. It's not a 3 season either. It's quite a bit warmer. It's a good tent. Too bad it's been discontinued. People email about this thing all the time.
That's a shame.
Yeah, you might be able to find one eBay or like an overstock outlet store sort of thing, like REI outlet, backcountry outlet. With dinner, we were going to talk about the oddities that have taken place here, the strange events, but it is a little bit windy, so we are going to wait so you all don't have to listen to a ton of wind noise.
It's very breezy.
It is.
Just when you think it's going to be calm, it starts right up again.
Yeah, that's right. Wow, absolutely incredible. I had no idea this is where we would end up today. I thought for certain we'd be camping down in the forest.
Yeah, I did too. I had no clue.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make you give it a shot.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's the guinea pig.
It's good.
Good.
It's really good.
Oh, it's really good.
All right, well, we will turn this off. Too windy. Bring you all back in just a bit.
Well, as you all can see, we are already in our sleeping bags in our tent. No more filming, we're tired, we're headed to bed. We are catching the sunrise bright and early, so we will see you all then.
Good night. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning, Susie.
Good morning.
How'd you sleep?
Okay. It's very windy up here, very windy.
But this is so cool.
Yeah, it is.
The sunrise this morning was amazing. It came up, I mean, perfectly in between two mountains. It's time to get up. Get moving. It's very smoky this morning. Lots of smoke. I smelled smoke all night long. My throat's a little hoarse.
Yeah, I'm feeling that too.
Yeah, you sound a little congested.
I am.
We'll see how bad it is. We had planned on hiking around here, and we still might, but It really depends on that smoke. It's pretty rough. Let's get up, figure out what we're doing today. Screw it. Coffee time, everyone. Cheers to you, cheers to Susie.
Cheers.
Cheers to the mountains. It is time to talk about what makes this such a weird place. So I took a bunch of notes on this stuff because there's a lot of detail here, and I have a handful of cases to talk about.
It's very common in this area for people to go missing and for weird and unusual things to happen.
In the 90s, this is so bizarre. In Arizona, an Air Force pilot flying an A-10 Warthog, fully loaded, thousands of rounds of ammunition, has 4 500-pound bombs, diverts off course, flies 800 miles to this area, crashes the plane. They find the plane, they find his body, the bombs are missing. He ejected them, dropped them at some point in time, and they've never been found. There's 4 bombs out here someplace.
That's weird.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. They have no idea why he did this. And apparently, like, his flying was pretty erratic. It was pretty low. People saw him flying, and they thought it was a training exercise.
There was also a missing man. He came out here to do some hiking. He went missing.
This was in 2010. His name was James Nilsson.
He had a 5-day trek out here. Nobody knew what happened to him, and it took 2 years for them to find his remains. And they found his remains in his tent.
In his tent, he had a journal filled with all sorts of crazy writing.
Another weird thing.
Pretty strange. Probably the most interesting story that we came across.
This was in 2005, and this is the woman that went missing, Michelle, and they have a plaque on the rock that we filmed and went to.
We should say that I don't know if that's meant to be found. The plaque is on a rock in a really obscure place. It's not something that you would notice just walking around. Like, we were climbing the rocks and messing around and found it.
It's just in a big mountain of rocks, and we were hiking around and something white caught my eye. You know, like in your peripheral vision, something will catch your eye. The sun was hitting it just right, so we went to explore, and it's a plaque about her. She was 35, and she wanted to climb her first 14,000-foot peak with her friend.
So they get to the trailhead, they take the Mount of the Holy Cross Trail, they go around, they get within 500 feet from the summit, and she says that she can't do it. And according to her friend, he tells her, well, head back to the car by yourself. So she, instead of going the way she came, comes this way and is never seen again.
Just a really weird story.
It is a weird story. This was Colorado's largest search and rescue event ever. They had more people on the ground, found absolutely nothing. I mean, all of this took place within hours. The dogs couldn't find her, no sign of her, but they did find all sorts of weird stuff on this mountain and in the forest. They found a bag with a shotgun fully loaded. They found a watch hanging from a tree. Not hers. They found some blood on the snow. No idea what it was.
And according to her friend, there was only a 45-minute difference from when he went to the top of the mountain and then when he came back down to start looking for her on the trail. And my biggest issue with that whole story is, like, you should never leave your teammate. You know, if she couldn't climb to the top, he shouldn't have climbed to the top.
Yeah.
They should have stuck together, and more than likely, she would still be here today.
Yeah, that is the biggest mistake. And the thing is like, he was supposedly like a very accomplished climber. He should have known better. Everything about that trip was bizarre.
You guys should do some research and read up about it. It is very interesting. It is very bizarre. I don't know.
Yeah, it's just crazy. And that is why this place is known as the Bermuda Triangle of Colorado. People go missing, people die. Yeah,
And there's not a good explanation for them, for any of it. You know, they've never found anything from hers. Nothing.
Right.
And they've searched and searched and searched.
Talking about weird experiences, like, we're not going to say this mountain's haunted or anything, but when we started this hike, I started a GPS track, right? That track is so jacked up, it doesn't follow the map at all. We get up here, start filming, my camera, the A7 III, goes crazy. I had to pull the battery, get it to work. Never had an issue.
I was hanging out inside this shelter for a while because once we got up here, of course, I was tired, wanted to just rest, get away from the wind. And Luke had said he would be right outside doing some filming and things like that. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna sit in here. I'm sitting over there by the window and I hear footsteps outside. So I thought it was Luke and I'm like, honey? And walking towards the door to see if I could unlatch it for him. And I don't hear him respond to me. And I'm like, okay. So I walk back over to where my stuff is and his orange jacket catches my eye from the window. And he's way, way over there filming. He's like way at the big mountain of rocks. So there was no way it was him.
All of that amounts to nothing, really.
No, who knows?
Just some oddities.
Oddity stuff.
Yeah. But you know, considering the fact that thousands of people made a pilgrimage here, I'm sure people passed away along this trek.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of history here. There's a lot of energy here, and just the Mount of the Holy Cross is just such an epic mountain, and it has a meaning for different, you know, it has a different meaning for different people.
Right.
So there's definitely an energy here.
Right. One thing to mention about this shelter, around 2010, this place was in really bad shape. There was holes in the roof, it would leak in here, the marmots would come in, the windows were broken, and the Forestry Service took the time, put the money in it and the effort, and fixed this up. And I'll tell you what, it is amazing. I don't remember if I said it before, but the walls are 18 inches thick. It's amazing.
Look at how smoky the mountains are, everyone. It's rough. Well, everyone, our adventure has come to an end here on Notch Mountain. It is time to venture off, go into the smoke. Awesome shelter, Cross Mountain, Holy Cross. Very sweet.
Very nice.
Yeah. And that's it. Let's go. Without a doubt, this has been an epic hike with epic switchbacks. That's one to train for, my friends. No doubt about it. It took about 5 minutes of walking, of hiking, before I got hot. Jacket off, sunblock on. Let's wrap this up. as we're heading down the mountain here, a family comes up. We stop to the side, let them walk by, say hellos. The son is trailing everybody else. And when he walks by, I think he was meaning to say appreciate it, but it was just a jumbled blah. I'm not the only one.
Yeah.
Well, everyone, this adventure is over. We're back to the parking lot. We'll go check on the truck. But talk about an epic trip. It was awesome in every single way, and the trail was pristine.
It really was. While hiking down, we ran into a forest ranger and we talked with her for a few minutes, and we just had to compliment about what a great job they are doing keeping up this place. And she said it's not easy, so of course Luke and I always want to remind everyone to follow the rules and regulations when you spend time in our national forest. They are a treasure for us to enjoy, not to destroy.
Wow, this trail is busy.
Wow, so busy.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 2 of the Overland Adventure, where Susan and I, we've come to Colorado. Susan and I have been out here for 2 days backpacking, and it was truly epic in so many ways. Make sure to check out that adventure. We're leaving the trailhead now, and we are looking for a dispersed campsite on the side of the road that we can park at, shower up, clean up, have some food, and to get ready for our adventure back to North Carolina. Susie is an incredible driver. Off-road all the time.
Off-road with our drifter.
That's right.
Our truck is pretty big though, so some of these roads feel very narrow, and then when you're trying to pass another vehicle, it definitely feels narrow at that point. But so far, it's working out.
Watch out, big truck coming through. Keep on coming. All right, stop there. This is the place that we found to pull over, camp at for a little bit. We are not going to spend the night, but we are going to take some showers, have coffee, change clothes, basically just freshen up.
Day 5 on the road. It is time for a shower after 2 days of backpacking. So we're gonna do it.
So as you all can see here, I set up a tarp, and this makes an awesome privacy wall. We could sit behind this, shower up, and nobody on this road would know any different. I've heated up some water for Susie so she could shower and be comfortable, because that water's ice cold. That came out of a mountain stream way up there.
Super cold.
Super cold. Oh, guys, let me tell you, we are in paradise.
Oh, we are. We are just lounging and chilling in the woods.
Yeah. I mean, we've had showers. Susie blow dried her hair.
Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome. I tell you what, having a tarp makes a huge difference. You can use it for a sunshade. You can use it for a privacy wall. It's important.
Mm-hmm.
And so is drinking lots of water in Colorado. I think my entire body's dry. I'm shriveling up. My eyes are dry, they hurt.
I'm still dry.
Yeah. It's amazing how, like, if you're not used to it, how it affects you. Like, my nose has started bleeding, like it always does.
We made coffee, we cleaned up the truck, got everything organized back in to where it should go. And that's one thing you have to do when you're overlanding and you're on the road. Things tend to get messy quickly. So you may not always have time to put up your bedding and put up your cooking stuff, but eventually you have to take that time and reorganize and clean up, and that's exactly what we did.
For now, the plan is to have lunch, possibly take a nap. I'm tired.
Chill here for a while, and when we get on the move, we'll let you know.
Sounds good. So right now we are heading east. It is time to go home. Only 1,563 miles. And if we drive straight, we could be there in 24 hours.
That's it.
That's it. Let's get you some meth. And let's get this done. Take one for the team, Honey Bear. So yeah, we will split this into 3 to 4 days, something like that. 3 preferably, but we'll see. As we're heading back, we have no locations to stop at. We're not sure what we're going to do. We may stop at gas stations, rest areas, who knows. Our goal is to make it home. Outside of that, it is incredibly smoky. We were talking to that forest ranger, and she said that the fire has doubled in size. It's out of control, and I tell you what, my eyes are burning.
Instead of staying another day in this area, I felt like it was the best choice to move on. The smoke is worse today than it was when we arrived. We're both feeling it in our noses and our throats. So there's definitely an air alert in this area, and since we're overlanding and camping outside, we've decided to get some miles between here and us so we can get away from it. We just left Walmart and we replenished our groceries for the trip home. So before we left our house in North Carolina, we went to the grocery store and filled up our fridge. And now on day 5, we refilled it, so we're good. And we will be good till we get back home.
That is one busy little Walmart.
Super busy.
It's super small.
It's very small.
It's this tiny little Walmart in the most amazing of places. It is surrounded by mountains.
It is.
It's spectacular. We're cruising through Denver right now, and it won't be long we'll be going past the Denver International Airport, which is a pretty wild place. You all should look it up if you have the time. Specifically, look up the Blue Horse, which is outside of the airport. It is known as Blucifer, and the sculptor who was creating it was killed by it. The head of the thing fell off and killed him. It is this crazy blue horse with like glowing red eyes. It looks menacing. The whole airport's bizarre. Like, they had paintings of like nuclear bombs going off and people dying and screaming and crying. It's wild. I think they painted over that stuff, but it was there for a long time.
Yeah.
Our adventures through Colorado continue to be good. Traffic is heavy. We'll talk later. Goodbye. Alright everybody, well, it is bedtime for Susie and I. And let me tell you, we're at a nice place.
We're in a super fancy rest area in Kansas, but it's the perfect accommodations for tonight. I can't drive any longer. It's dark, so we're stopping and we'll start again in the morning.
So this is the view. At this rest area, you could stay overnight, no problem. Some rest areas, you can't, so you have to be selective. Everybody, good night for now. See you in the morning. Good night, Susie.
Good night. Good morning.
How are you?
I'm good.
How'd you sleep?
Pretty good. Not bad, really.
That's good.
It's not any worse than a windy mountain.
I slept better here than on that mountain.
Yeah.
It took me a while to go to sleep, though. Yeah, I was tired, but I just couldn't fall asleep. But it is 6 o'clock in the morning. Looks foggy out somewhat. The birds are going insane. Millions of them here. It's funny. It is coffee time for Susie and I. Coffee time.
Coffee time. Coffee time. Coffee
You want coffee?
Yes. Big.
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 You got it.
So the plan for today is to make our coffee and eat breakfast and hit the road for several hours. We're kind of switching things up since we are taking our pit stops at rest areas or gas stations. So that means dinners are really simple and we will be cooking our lunches instead of cooking our dinners. So things are kind of backwards on the return home. This is day 6 of our epic 2020 road trip. Day 6. Is that right?
I think so.
Wow. Time all goes together, so I'm not sure.
It's been a while.
It's been a while. It feels a long time. Something about traveling. But yes, it is day 6. We're heading back home to North Carolina.
Good morning, Susie.
Good morning.
I'll tell you what, folks. Everybody out here is being weird in their own way. For an example, we're sitting here, truck pulls up, and the guy gets out and he walks across the field behind some bushes over here. And who knows what he's doing. There's the truck. Back there are the bushes. More than likely he's using the bathroom back there because he doesn't want to go in the rest area. And I don't blame him. I don't blame him. Luckily we have everything we need inside of this truck.
Yes, we're so lucky.
Head east.
Here we go. So we've been on the road for about 3 hours this morning, making good progress. How you feeling, Susie?
Feel pretty good. Still kind of waking up a bit, I think. Feels good to stretch.
Yeah, it does. So out of all the states that we've gone through, which one's your favorite?
So far, I've really enjoyed Kansas. It feels great. There's always a nice breeze, even if it's hot. All of the rest areas in Kansas are super nice. Sometimes you find water. It's beautiful. The traffic's not been heavy. I think it's my favorite.
Wilson State Park was absolutely stunning with those rolling hills. And Susie's right. I mean, it could be like 85 degrees and it's windy. It feels amazing. It's funny, every time I go across the country, my opinion changes. I'm like, oh, I love Missouri. No, today it's Kansas. Colorado is awesome in its own way. But every single time I go and I come back, I'm always like, there's too many people.
Definitely. Colorado is very crowded. And I have to say, when you're in Colorado, it's beautiful, but there's a lot more traffic, a lot of congestion, and it's very dry. So it's almost like desert, and then you go to the mountains. So it's been nice to get back away from that because now my nose is feeling better.
For this overland trip, we've been sticking mainly to the interstate, which has been absolutely awesome. The interstate is a very interesting network of roads that came around in the 1950s thanks to Eisenhower. And the purpose of the interstate system was many. First off, it was about safety. It was about congestion. It was about the courts and the economy. And also national defense. The United States has roughly 50,000 miles of interstate.
Wow.
As of today, which is incredible. And interesting enough, it's one of the safest network of roads in the entire world. I've traveled the country over and over and over. I've done it every single way. North, south, east, west. I've hit most states by now. Taking the back roads, you get a very unique look at the country. It's a look that's a little bit more realistic than the interstate. You really get to see what these communities are like. You can see those that are prospering and those that are suffering at the same time. It's very different. Both are very interesting, that's for sure. We have the interstate thanks to World War II. The Germans had high-speed networks of roads, and Eisenhower wanted to mimic this because it's a great idea. You need to have a high-speed delivery system to get materials, personnel, and whatnot from one end of the country to the other. And something interesting about the interstate program is that this was also created so that civilians can leave their homes in case of nuclear war. They can get out super fast and go from one part of the country to the next.
For our trip, we just hit 2,000 miles in our truck. And for me, this has been my first real cross-the-country interstate travel trip, and I've loved every second of it. It's really been a fun adventure.
You know, I'll tell you what, everybody. We have so many freedoms. Never take them for granted and never give them up. Even if it's a freedom that you don't agree with, such as the right to protect yourself, the right to bear arms. It's a right that you have. You have that right. Don't give it up. We have the freedom to go out to do anything that we want to. I mean, if we want to, we could head north, right? We could head south. We could do anything that we want. We could camp anywhere that we want, for the most part, you know what I'm saying? But, yeah, it's amazing that we have it. And I'm grateful. It's a few hours later, and we are at another rest area.
I think today we are starving, probably from our grueling hike in Colorado. Today it's catching up with us as we travel back home.
As we mentioned in part one of this road trip, we've been keeping track of all sorts of interesting stats, or at least interesting to us. As far as political signs go, we've seen hundreds of Donald Trump stuff. We've seen no Biden stuff. So, does that mean anything? I have no idea, but interesting nonetheless. Bon appetit, everyone. Susie, thank you.
It smells good.
It does smell good.
So for this trip, Luke and I decided we were not going to eat out. We were going to pack and cook all of our food. So before we left our house, we packed our fridge and food container. Then we made a restock at Walmart. So we only have to stop at a store just to grab more food. And so far it's worked out great. It's an affordable, efficient way to travel.
True, especially during these interesting times with the virus. Some people don't care, some people do. The way that we look at it is this. There's a virus, it's super contagious. The odds are you're not going to die from it. But we want to take every precaution that we can. I don't like being sick. Susie doesn't want to get sick. We don't want to infect anybody else. So we're doing our part. We try to stay away from everybody, have our adventure while helping local economies as much as possible. At the end of this episode will be all sorts of stats. How much water we used, how many times we filled up, how much we spent on gas, so on and so forth. It is Saturday evening, roughly 7 o'clock. We are approaching St. Louis. Our plan is to find a rest area outside of St. Louis on 64, and that's where we will spend the night. As is, we are 11 hours, 10 minutes from home. We will arrive tomorrow late. Good morning, everyone. We are at a rest area outside of St. Louis, and our progress yesterday afternoon wasn't as good as we hoped. We got stuck in an accident, so we got tired, pulled over here, slept great. But it's about 6 o'clock in the morning. It's time to go. We have someplace to go today. Home.
Day 7.
Day 7. 7 days in the truck. 6 days in the truck, I guess. It's been awesome. Now this morning, folks, I didn't film as much as I usually would, and that's because there was this guy. I believed he was homeless, but he's been sitting at a park bench over here every once in a while, just eyeballing us. So I really need to keep my eye on him while doing what we needed to do. I personally carry and conceal, so does Susie. So it was just the right thing to do. And this is a point that everybody should take when you're out on the road. And the truth is, in your daily life, you need to keep an eye on everyone. Your personal protection is your responsibility, and I'm not telling you that you have to carry a gun or anything like that, but you need to be ready to protect yourself. For myself, I watch everything. I watch everyone. I keep an eye on everyone. I'm not judging them, but I'm prepared for anything. So you need to be in the same mindset, especially when you're traveling across the country. You're stopping at rest areas, even campgrounds. You have to be wary.
This is day 7 and our final day of our epic 2020 road trip. We had a great time in Colorado, and today we will make it back to North Carolina, even though it may be late. This is my first experience staying at rest areas, and it's worked out nicely. They can be a little noisy, but what Luke and I usually do is try to find a corner where we can park. We've been able to hang up a blanket or a sheet to block out some of the lights, and we've actually been resting very well. The best advice is just to always look out for your surroundings. When you wake up, check it out, see what's around you, see who's parked near you. Just always be cautious. Most people that you're going to encounter are traveling just like you, and they're going to mind their own business just like you're doing. But it never hurts just to be safe. Better safe than sorry is the saying.
Susie brings up great points. First off, when it comes to rest areas, you cannot camp, spend the night inside of your vehicle at all of them. So make sure to check the regulations at the individual rest area. Next up, you will tend to find that you have more homeless people when you get closer to big cities. So like for us, this is the first experience having someone just hanging out in the woods. But like that's common, that's going to happen. I'm not saying that homeless people are bad people or anything like that. Again, you just have to be ready. You have to be prepared. You have no idea what someone else's intentions are, so. Now, before this adventure comes to an end, everyone, I want to give a special thank you to Susie for making this happen. She has been absolutely awesome, the best travel companion. She's done an amazing job driving. So thank you so much for making this possible. I mean, without Susie, this is something that I could not have done. Like, I know some people know this, but like I broke my back years ago when I was a kid. I can't drive for long periods of time. I have to move around too much, so it's just not possible. So I mean, I could not have gone on this trip without Susie, and having her there has made this so much fun. We have had a blast. We've just been laughing the entire time. So Susie, thank you so much. I love you. And also to the viewers, thank you all so very much for your support. I mean, we do these adventures, we record all of this for you all, we want to share with you all, and yeah, we appreciate you all very, very much. So again, thank you for the views, the likes, the comments, and the support on Patreon. It all means a lot to us.
I couldn't do this trip without you because you're an excellent navigator and you help me so much. So I just feel like we make a great team, a great travel team.
Yes, we do.
Yep, and I love you, and every adventure we have is special in its own way, and I will never ever forget this one. It's been so much fun. So I don't feel like it would be possible without you. Yeah.
It's the puppy and kitty team
Combo.
Yeah. I'm gonna speak her language right now. Meow, 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 meow. I'm going to leave that in. So. You know, everybody, with the Outdoor Gear Review, I make it a point to never tell anyone what to do. We all have the freedom to think the way that we want to, decide what we want to, and to do what we want to. Life is short, time is not guaranteed, so if there's something that you want to do, that you've always wanted to do, begin thinking about how to do it now. How can you make it happen? How can you do it safely in this crazy world that we live in? With this overlanding and backpacking trip, Susan and I lived out an adventure which is epic for us, and we did so in the safest way possible, while letting nothing stop us. So my question for you all is this: what is stopping you? Thank you all very much for joining us for this adventure. On to the next. Susie?
On to the next one.
That's right, we're very close to being home. Bye, everybody. Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye.
it's like you're laying in the perfect light. Ooh, it'll be just you and me and nothing else. No distractions, just attraction. Ooh, and I'm not good at letting go. Something about you makes me lose my inhibition. So baby, let's let go and take it real, real, real slow. So baby, let's let go and take it real, real, real slow. Baby, baby, come a little.
I think it's a toss-up between Chevy and maybe Jeep.
Yeah.
There are dead Jeeps everywhere. Like the entire guts ripped out on the road.
True.
Yeah.
Ooh, it'll be me and you and nothing else. No distractions, just attraction. Ooh, and I'm no good at letting go, but there's something about you makes me lose my inhibitions. So baby,